Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. Continuing on with our derivation, making good progress as always. Really hoping to get to the end of this proof soon, who knows. But I'm on the last page of my little notebook. I'm gonna have to get a new notebook. So science team, I'm gonna be sending you another box full of books. God, I hate this fucking park. What is the relationship of infinitesimality and dichotomisticality? Two words that, again, they're completely proven. You've never heard either of those words, but from me. But again, it comes from a complete proof, and all of these results are outside of me. They're just generalized, and it applies to everything. So again, infinitesimality, how many numbers between 1 and 2? It's infinitesimal. And that's where you get an infinitesimal. Right? It's the complete form of that word. But it makes sense, right? If you're infinitesimal, well, what is the relationship for dichotomisticality? Right? You're taking two things. We have this fundamental stability of 2, where you can't break things down past 2 components, whatever 2 could represent. And it's forcing to one thing. And so now we started with 1 and we've differentiated. And so what we're doing is like an uniterating all of this logic. And so the relationship, dichotomisticality kind of produces infinitesimality. You're just forcing something to the smallest it can be, and then there's a limit. Is there a chronological reason to execute integration or differentiation first? Getting to our order of operations, you say addition, subtraction, well, it's just whatever one's left to right. But now we've established chronology. And so differentiation is the fundamental, and division is the fundamental operator on the time-dependent evolution, right? And now we live in 3 dimensions, and so there's no theoretical, and I hate the word theoretical, but there's no reason in practice. Well, theoretically, there's no reason you can't have, if you took something with a bunch of small little pieces and then put it all together, you have the same amount of mass. Or if you took one thing and then you broke it into a bunch of pieces, you would still have the same amount of mass. So there's no fundamental physical motivation to do integration or division first in R3. Again, extremely different for the universal progressions of these phase changes, but there's no reason you couldn't have a bunch of pieces, put it together, or have something that's a whole and break it into a bunch of pieces. You're still going to obey the conservation of mass. And so there's no fundamental physical reason, but chronology exists, and so you're kind of, again, you're uniterating logic or progression. And that's because, again, R3 is not stabilized, right? We live with all open systems. Everything interacts with one another. Sensorality is ordered, right? The past is ordered, right? It's completely stabilized. Nothing's going to change the past. Sensorality is reiterationality. Reiterationality, recreationality. Sensorality is arithmeticality. Arithmeticality. Getting back to that, again, clearly it's based on rhythm. Eticality, like what is meticality? Even like the pronunciation throws me a little bit there. Again, arithmeticality. Arithmeticality would have to be its pronunciation. But what is meticality? Sensorality is meticulous. Change is different. Dynamicality is different. Special commercial. Sensorality commercializes. Sensorality is shiality. Sality, shiality. Right, and that kind of commercial cereal. Again, just connecting a bunch of these different things, like cereal. I'm sure no one was out there was waiting, again, if you haven't seen the first proof, nobody was out there waiting for cereal to come in there. But it's a word, it's well-defined, and it's in the form of sensorality. What is reeling? Right, we have Instagram Reels. Like I said, I don't have any social media besides the video I post here. I do watch a lot of YouTube, and I scroll through Reddit. So I didn't even know what, I wasn't even on Instagram when Reels came out. But recoiling reels, right? If you see something that's really atrocious, you go, ugh, right? You're reeling. He's reeling from that event. But recoiling reels, and so now we have that dichotomistic nature to reel. Again, same sound, same word, 2 different spellings meaning different things. Revelation reels. Sensorality is sensitivitality. And again, that fundamental VIT is what I call this. You'll see it in specialities proof, but it's really just a syllable. And so we're like building up through that syllable. Because remember, I have all of this fundamental intuition of when I did a complete proof of this before I turned 7 years old. Sensorality is sensity. But if you see the sensitivity, Right, sensitivity plus ality, you get sensitivitality. And then you get that vitality in the sensitive, or sensity is the functioning as a prefix now. So what is sensitality? Sensitaliation, retaliation. Sensorality is sensitationality. Sensitationality, sensationality. Is speciality sensory? Right, is your, right? And so we're trying to generate this question that will have clear logical sense, and the answer will be sensorality. Right, so is speciality sensory? Is your natural tendency to differentiate based on your senses? Yes. But again, I'm posing a question because I'm trying to get to this final form. Sensory, sensorality. Sensorality is specie. Sensorality specifies, not specify, specifies. Speciality, superficiality. So now we got that F in there. Why would we have an F in there? I don't know, but it felt good when we got it in there. Sensorality is speciality. Speciality is feeble, right? Feeble, febility, fidelity. Sensorality is indelible. Indelibility is permanent. And now we can make another sweeping generalization, right? Anything that ends in or, O-R, you generalize it, you put A-L-I-T-Y on it, you're going to get orality. Similarly, you can put anything that ends in ment, moment, right? And you put ality, you're going to get mentality. So anything that ends in M-E-N-T, generalize, is going to produce the suffix that's mentality. And right, sensorality with a C does not have mentality. So another huge reduction. And this is what happened in speciality, is like the next axiom, right? Because remember, the bases don't change. And so like the next axiom in the definition of sensorality or speciality's extension or whatever we're solving, I'm pretty sure it's sensorality with a C, is, what was I just fucking saying? I just lost what I was saying. Oh, but it was in the suffixes, right? You extend out these words and like, again, the base doesn't change and it's the suffix and prefix. And so now we have, again, two huge limiting reductions through suffixes, right? Mentality and orality. So what is the relationship of mentality and orality? But linguistically, it was super poignant because we forced out these fundamental words into like a suffix area. Again, I don't know how to formalize it, but that was important. So sensorality is momentality, right? Moment, momentum, momentality. We're threading this needle. Sensorality is resemblance, right? What is resemble? What resembles? Resembling, right? What is a semblance, right? There's no inkling, there's no semblance. It doesn't look like that at all. It doesn't resemble it at all. It's so on and so forth. And finally, speciality scams. So finishing up, because again, this makes me want to kill myself, because there's is there a place to go on this planet to do scientific research to get away from fat, disgusting fucking people who've objectively contributed nothing to society, that do nothing besides scream at sports games, and can't fucking mind somebody's fucking business? No. So again, thank you for destroying my life, ruining everything I've ever worked for, stealing property. Just know that the instant our souls leave our body, you will never be remembered for anything besides being fucking whores. So thank you for watching, enjoy your free shit, continue to torture me and not acknowledge anything I've ever done. Who gives a shit? This life is disgusting. See you on the next one.